blue side. Good luck with that, BBQ.
Yeah, let's just swap them over to the side that has the highest win rate. They're still going to ban away that Renekton first and foremost, so I want to take that one off the board, but maybe they could get their hands on the Rumble. Fully expected to be banned, however.
I kind of want to see KT play Xayah, so I'm hoping it's not going to be a Caitlyn first pick, but it's going to be a lot available when you can afford to ban LeBlanc on blue side. Could just be taking the Elise as well if BBQ cannot find a spot to ban it. But because Score on Lee Sin is not as scary a proposition as some of his other picks, there's the chance that will be left open in this game.
See a couple moments there, but so far the Galio banned away. Do we see
Taliyah?
the Taliyah off the board is the question here for KT. Because right now BBQ, they got to rack their brains depending on what is banned by KT. Elise available. As you mentioned, Lisa, not the biggest priority, but Caitlyn is there. And it's going to be the Syndra yet again away from Tempt.
This will potentially leave the Taliyah open for BBQ. I actually like the Taliyah more on blue side than red side compared to some of the delay champions. Her shorter range means that her denying Baron and other objectives seems a bit cleaner on blue side compared to red. So not as high value as the red side ban from KT onto the Taliyah. And the Karma is actually going to be interesting.
They can choose.
They did ban lots of range supports in the second round of the draft in Game 1, largely targeted at Mata.
Oh, it's going to be Caitlyn yet again.
Over Elise, interestingly. Now, maybe this is just they don't want to play Elise before playing against SK Telecom. There's always mind games to be discussed when we're in situations like this. BBQ will still be happily picking up Taliyah and Elise, and when it comes to power picks, it's a great duo. They have a lot of synergy with each other, great for roaming as well. So BBQ do get a large amount of power on the red side, depending on where KT want to go with their draft.
Can they make it work? Is going to be the question. Flip back over to KT here, running down the clock, taking their time with this one. Could you see the Kazakhs come back out?
Rumble's available.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Hey, look at that.
Well, it wasn't going to be taken by BBQ because Crazy is not a great Rumble player. And returning to the playbook of just playing what's normal, can't be much more normal than Rumble, who almost certainly will not be available for KT in the series coming up.
You would expect so. And
for either team, actually, if you think about it.
An interesting hover from Pawn, the Fizz.
He's played one game of Fizz, looked really poor on it earlier in the season, so...
But now he looks great.
It's true. His form is better, but why not just go for the Orianna, take the fact that you'll be pushed in early, then just scale and BK. You already have Rumble to win the push war in another lane, so chances of being 3 lanes pushed in when you draft Caitlyn, Rumble, and Orianna is basically 0.
Yeah. You know, KT just countering these 2 massive picks that BBQ were able to get for themselves. And now, seems like they want to take this Braum away. Could just try to draft an ADC before the bans come through from KT, and that's going to be the thought process here as they pick up the Varus.
It's actually more likely to be a Braum ban, I would say, from BBQ than a Braum take. If you look at the comp KT's running, Braum does actually basically nothing. He just kind of dies in AoE to Orianna and Rumble, so very low value to draft Braum on the red side.
He can block the Harpoons.
Oh, yeah. If he's in range of Harpoons in team fights, probably got bigger problems.
Yeah. Probably either just ban it away or... I mean, if they really did want to take it, they could, but yeah, the Varus here makes a lot more sense before the champion pool gets limited.
Speaking of champion pools, they want Score to play something other than Kazakhs. We're sitting at 4-0 in recent games on the Kazakhs, so trying to force him away from Ultra Comfort. Maybe that will prompt the Lee Sin that's up and down from Score to be drafted in this game.
Well, as expected, with the ADC selected, it's going to be the bottom lane still focused out here. Smeb, kind of, pretty confident in his Rumble here, so he'll go ahead and just get rid of that Lulu. They don't want anything that BBQ can use to die slower.
That's fair. They want to die fast.
Yeah. They kill them fast, get out of here, and enjoy their Saturday night.
I wonder if Score will show Rek'Sai in this game. Will be a good ball carrier. Will be a champion he played a lot in the past. You can see an argument for Rek'Sai from KT Rolster. But perhaps it's optimism not really worth considering. Tahm Kench and Braum were the supports that really leapt off the page for KT Rolster to draft. Tahm Kench taken away, and BBQ could deny the Braum if they really want, even if it doesn't fit their comp so well. Taking away the Jace is a potential laning matchup into the Rumble. One of BBQ's best games was Crazy on Jace, abandoning his tank role his tank role play and actually playing for lane, so interesting ban. And Cannon's not really a pick that's been considered that much, especially this week with the win rate falling away.
Yeah. Well, they still come back to this Braum.
It's a nice takeaway from KT Rolster, and it is a powerful support. It's just not a game where Unbreakable is going to get massive value. So that's kind of what they're sacrificing from taking the Braum in this spot.
Well, it was banned in game 1. Now it's available. Could just see that Thresh come through here for Mata. The old classic, and it will be locked in. Final pick as we wait to see what score we'll be piloting. You say the Rek'Sai, perhaps.
Gragas also would be about as normal as can be.
That's true.
Physical damage, though, would be a little bit nice coming from anyone other than the Caitlyn, so I feel like Gragas or Rek'Sai. Does he want to show Rek'Sai in a game like this is the question, though.
Ooh,
and actually goes for a really intriguing draft. Now suddenly, it feels like the only ball carrier, realistically, is going to be Mata on the Thresh, because they're going to actually take Graves, who's been overlooked for a lot of games recently. Has not been a popular jungle choice. Very low win rate in the league. It's a comfort pick for him. And the Camille into Rumble. Try the split push story anyway for Crazy. Didn't get the Jace. Would have been more reliable in having ranged poke. But the Camille, same sort of idea. Get the Camille going, get the Trinity Force and a Hex Drinker. Try to kill that Yordle across the map.
All right. Well, some throwback picks here. Camille and Graves, both ones that we've seen here and there, but definitely have fallen off as far as the popularity is concerned from the players. But interesting drafts on both sides. You can see Graves score go back onto that Graves. So see how much he's kept up with it in the solo queue and how much he's practiced on it lately.
A pick comp with Camille. We saw a pick comp with Fiora earlier in the day. I like a pick comp with Camille because if she shows up in a fight, puts down the Hextech Ultimatum, suddenly the area you have to juke, Cocoon, or Seismic Shove is drastically reduced, and you can actually work with a pick comp, but also be a similar level of split-pushing threat. So the Camille coming in, more and more players are messing with it, sees buffs in future patches. I think we'll be seeing more Camille in the future.
Tempt a lot safer.
And Tempt also gets his Ultra Comfort in the Talia, so some power in the draft from BBQ. KT Rolster, they just want to end it early. They just want to go and start preparing for that telecom war. But BBQ have got quite a fearsome draft in Game 2.
Yeah, still an immense amount of pressure here. Their backs against the wall. Need this win to extend the series to a third game and to just really instill hope in their fans. Let's see if BBQ can do it or if this will be the 2-0 closeout from KT Rolster as we load in for Game 2. KT fans feeling the wind, or the wind, feeling the wind. We're inside. Feeling the wind.
Did someone fart?
It's on the horizon, maybe. Was it you?
No. But someone, if they're feeling the wind, then you know.
All right, well, it's a big audience. It could be any one of these people.
That's true.
Do
you see any likely types when you look out at the crowd? Anyone look a bit bashful when you look out there?
I mean, a lot of these girls when they get on camera.
Well, that's actually a pick coming onto Smeb. He's all alone. Will be forced to flash.
Wow, nice invade.
But it's a predictable one, right? It's a 5-man invade with the Braum coming in, which is such a standard thing, and almost caught out Smeb.
It was him!
That was really loud.
He's hiding his face.
That was very loud. Calm down over there.
I found him.
I see what you were up to in year 1. You were definitely the person dobbing on people. It was him! The BBQ invade works out really well. That means that Rumble has no flash now, Achilleos, and Camille may actually get to her phase just a bit faster. You want to talk more about farting, don't you?
No, I was going to say it's a good thing I wasn't a part of the Salem witch trials, because it's like, that one. She's a witch.
It's a deep reference.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's a deep reference.
It's not that deep.
Well,
everyone's heard of it.
We'll see how big a hole Smeb has dug himself. With no flash against a Camille Elise. That could be really painful.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great. Depth and Mata are going to try to make up for it here as they push in, just trying to give Bless a bit of a hard time.
And it does relieve pressure off of the top lane as well, because now Bless has to take more HP. Smite was already used, so it's actually being held onto for the next buff. So now the speed is going to be a bit slower. Now the health pool will be lower, and it's less likely that that gank happens in the top lane.
Yeah, slowed him down considerably as well. Had to wait and see if that push forward is going to come through for Depth and Mata to try to get the steal. So it did buy them a couple extra seconds. But yeah, Smeb, we'll see how he plays around this one. For now, he's still just furiously pushing forward, keeping Crazy contained back towards that turret.
Actually, exactly. Proxying the wave in many ways by just standing in front of it. Level 2, so not much Crazy can do in this particular spot.
How very Marin of him.
I wonder if we'll see the exact same level of priority on 7-12 with our resident Marin, sorry, not Marin mains, Rumble mains. Marin.
Might as well be a Marin.
Marin, Huni, Untara, and the gang, Smeb included, very big Rumble proponents, but the Rumble tweaks have left the competitive Rumble playstyle of pushing and being K a little bit target nerfed in the early game. So it's going to be interesting to see if we just see draft Rumble and hope it's K, or whether Rumble become more of a situational pick.
Arrival here into the mid lane. Bless going to toss out the cocoon, won't find anything. Just one rock thrown by Tempt. All that will connect so Pawn stays safe. It's actually not running the Ghost this time. Is going for the heal.
Worried about being all in. It's a very useful tool in the Hextech Ultimatum, just to have that, because Ghost against Hextech Ultimatum is just sadness, so maybe just being respectful of the potential pick plays from Crazy later in the game.
Just 2 laps around your cage.
It's true. But then you just feel like a hamster, and it's bad.
Yeah.
It feels really bad.
They're good pets, though.
It's a big engage onto Smeb, but very optimistic that's so far away.
Yeah.
Might still work out. Bless could flash here.
Oh, they do. They get the cocoon down. Can they get the kill? Turret shot starting to come in. One more shot would do it. Bless. Oh,
gets
goes
the
in
shield.
for it. He's going to get taken out. The turnaround. Bless. He'll get executed, so Smeb does not get the first blood. But what a massive flop from the side of BBQ.
It just took so long that he actually got the cooldown back on his shield because they engaged so early. Oh, huge punishment. Even if you don't pick up the kill, you get the experience there onto Smeb.
And double buffs are lost.
Oh, dear. They saw it. You know, they had the read. They saw Smeb was overextended. They thought they could get the kill. And the best they can say is that double buffs were not given to the Rumble. But the experience could also be a big factor, Achilles, because you make a visit top lane, you know the equalizer will be there before the ultimatum.
Yep.
Crazy wanted to profit on the no flash Rumble. Remember, his flash was used at level 1. That's why it made so much sense. And Smeb still overextended, as Rumbles are wont to do.
Just go home, Bless.
Gets away with it.
Stay away from these desecrated lands. Well,
staying top lane just to see if Smeb will teleport back in. We know Smeb's flash is back up, so no real reason to profit there.
well, Smeb says screw it. I'm just going to be going straight for damage. Blasting Wand in the inventory, walking back in with that refillable potion. He's not worried.
Nope.
Ooh, Seismic Shove though onto Pawn. Going low, shield comes out, has to pop the heal as well. Good trading by Tempt. Has that comfort pick, and so far it's working out pretty well.
Comfort doesn't always mean a lot. You know, there's Ian, for example, 0-5 on Orianna this season. That was a staple for him before. But Talia is actually 2-2 for BBQ, and for Tempt in particular. So they have been able to pilot that pick uniquely well, given they only have 4 game wins on the season. That has been a big one for them and frequently banned, even in game 1 of this series.
We had our first pentakill of the spring split with it as well.
Noted Talia player for certain. I think Tempt, honestly, is one of the diamonds on this BBQ team. You know, whenever there's a bottom team, when you go later and later in the season, every team around the world's like, I wonder if we could import them. And it feels like definitely the race for Tempt and Ghost will be the hottest when it comes to the players in this team. If you ask me who was better, Athena back in the day for ESC Ever or Tempt, I would say Tempt, even though Athena was a pretty reliable player. Tempt can carry, is one thing we know, and Athena was more of that role-play wave clear player. I think of Athena like I think of Kuro, for example, whereas Tempt on his day can be a true carry.
Well, unfortunately, being on the squad just kind of makes him look a bit more like cubic zirconium rather than diamonds.
True.
Hopefully some teams can kind of, brush it off and they realize the true value and potential that's there.
Imagine if CJ Entus knew the true value of what they had. There was a lot of money to be made there. All of it gone.
Imagine if CJ Entus wasn't bad.
No, I can't do it.
And they say the imagination is limitless.
Not about CJ Entus, it's not. No value gotten out of their level 1 attack onto Smeb. If anything, more advantages to Smeb, who's ahead in experience, if not in gold.
Is that one of those things where if you found like a magic genie in a lamp, you'd ask for him like, I wish CJ Inches would be good at League of Legends, and he'd be like, I cannot grant your wish. It's like wishing for more
If you used
wishes.
a magic 8-ball, it definitely would come up like that. Science point to know. What do you think it says when Score asks if I ever win an LPL, sorry, an LCK title? He might win an LPL
Try
one,
again later.
Try. Oh boy.
You never. This could be the split.
It could always be the split. Hope springs eternal, Achilles.
I'm pretty sure that he'll win one before he retires.
Or he'll go to another region and win a different title.
That's true.
A lot of rumors that may happen, but then KT stacked the roster, so he stuck around
Yeah.
to finish second twice.
Hey, we'll build everything around you. He's like, okay.
It all worked out.
Goodbye, Hachani. And then he crushed Hachani.
That's why they jungled against each other just a couple of days ago. Check out the VOD if you missed it. Ever 8 winners versus KT Rolster.
Yeah, it was one for the ages.
Things I didn't know I wanted. Well, the Weaver's Wall.
Oh, well, 90 caliber net won't get deft over to safety, but the Dark Passage will. So, a nice little attempt there by Tempt. Inadvertent. But they don't get anything for that.
Use that window where you have the pushing advantage on the Tilia to make the roam play. Nothing doing for Tempt in that regard. Items starting to come together for the Orianna, and the soft counter pick, or at least the window of strength for Tilia, starts to go away. Scorer's decided he's just going to farm. He's playing PvE. Doesn't need to gank anything.
You should go kill that that spider camp that's in the jungle.
Okay.
He's got the red buff, makes it easier to take. So yeah, for now, just hovering around. Some nice forward vision. It's actually expiring at the moment by BBQ, but spotting out around the Raptors in the red buff as they both die.
So this time,
But credit
Score
to them for getting him there.
Score was spotted invading, but it's going to put down a ward, so not looking for any more serious of invade. KT don't have quite as much artillery to call in when they go for the invade. It's going to start the Drake, but the ward is going to expire.
Yeah, they'll see this, so they know that they've been in vision. But seems like BBQ not that interested in contesting over this Ocean Drake, so they will just let this one go. Nothing Mata. Just getting the safety, keep catching those waves, and try to catch back up in CS. Infernal going to be the next one yet again. So maybe things will get a bit more interesting when that spawns in 6 minutes' time.
Gotta be optimistic, Kilios. One can hope.
I mean, we did have a kill, but the turret got it.
Turret's got a bounty. I think turrets should get bounties. If you get a triple kill as a turret, it should be worth even more gold.
That would be neat. I mean, there's just not enough executes in the game. Maybe if they really buffed up the turrets and made them, like, just destroy you, then that would be a cool little mechanic.
A cool little mechanic, or I guess phase of the game that exists right now, is that when the AD carries finally have their first recall, so many different things can happen. That's actually really fun to just inspect where supports go, because the moment they back, supports, you know, build Moby boots, start roaming. Maybe they're going top lane with their AD carry. Maybe they're invading for vision. For example, we saw Totoro just invading for vision as Mata was considering going around the mid lane. The chance for the roaming support has returned to the game, and that's always fun to see.
Well, control ward in the forward brush. Not going to spot the ward that Scorer walked over. So, Crazy, perfectly aware of where he's at. And see, Bless and Tempt are actually going to be responding to this. Maybe we have a fight on our hands. As the roam up does come through, he's going to dash forward, looking for Crazy, dashes back in, gets the stun, Hexic ultimatum thrown down, and that is going to be Score, getting absolutely destroyed. First blood over to Crazy, now looking for a little bit more here. Smeb desperately tries to kite his way back in underneath the turret, but there's so much damage that he will fall. 2 kills on the board for BBQ.
It's really smart as well, Achilles, because they called in their mid laner as Orianna was recalling. They had everyone in the exact right position. Bless had to flash, but was there for the cocoon. KT undone, the control ward, sure. Knew they had exclusive vision of the forward brush, but didn't have that information with the increasing trend towards laning the top lane brush, even in the 1v1. KT thought they were just gonna get the icing on the cake and start the snowball, but actually BBQ We already complimented their draft. They have the split pusher. Now the split pusher has a gold advantage.
Yep. And now we get the ever-elusive mid-lane rumble. And Smeb TP's in on covering his lane. So I'll just go ahead and pick up these minions. Try to keep his head above the water, but nice little lead coming in here for Crazy, who has almost got all the components of that Trinity Force completed. For the Stinger and then the completion goal.
Then Smeb will definitely need Score to make revisits top lane because we'll find it hard to walk in and trade. Whenever the Hextech Ultimate is available, you don't have that same disengage potential, so we'll lose pretty heavy-handedly in the Trinity Force trades. Marta's here this time. Not spotted.
But Deft is. So there goes that.
Another school of thought is to just bring in your bot lane and try to take the turret, end the laning phase.
Gonna try to force him out. Equalizer not quite available to just fast clear this wave. You can see the recall has come through though from Ghost and Totoro.
Weaver's Wall down. Elise was on the bottom side of the map, so Deft is able to walk up for now. Marta there for range on the Dark Passage.
They have a control ward in here. Will be spotted out, so that's going to be the full retreat from the side of KT. Got the turret rather low. Have not been able to take it yet. First brick would definitely help them get back into this game as they find themselves in about 1,000 gold deficit at the moment.
And they're happy to stay because for KT, a 3v3 skirmish, you do have the equalizer, Kilios. You do have the ability to win at 3v3s. So when it comes to the 1v1, they know they can't really deal with that. But in a scenario where they're even numbered and there's not a vision advantage, KT do have a good chance of winning a team fight.
Going to be a 5-man roam up towards that top side of the map as Pawn and Score look to join in the fight. Deft pushing forward, looking for the hits. Spiderling will block on that death sentence there from Mata as the Cocoon comes through into the Chain of Corruption. Hasn't been targeted out that much. Yeah, the Equalizer is thrown down to the back side. Those up must come down, and that is going to be Blessed getting stomped out. Pawn finds the kill with the dissonance. Crazy comes into the backside of the fight with that TP, and the Weaver's Wall thrown in. But really just defensive one to make sure that Camille can get out safely.
Yeah, the use of the Lantern here has been super good from Mata. Considering the re-engage doesn't have W available, so if he flash hooked, there wouldn't necessarily have been the backup for a play like that. Really well executed from KT Rolster. Predictably, Smeb's Equalizer on point, forced to disengage and also signaled the end of the Elise's life. So they get the turret and more plays around the Rumble rather than leaving Rumble to flounder in the 1v1 is probably the right way.
Shockwave comes down. Turret will fall and now Pawn in a bad spot. Exact Ultimatum coming through. Seismic shove to pop him back in. Tempt will find another kill. Now Score under fire. Has to flash over the wall. Keep himself alive, but Crazy's coming in hot. Won't have the lockdown to get the kill, but still do find yet another one, staying above KT in that regard. 500 gold up, 3-1, even in turrets now.
And awesome to see a rotational play like that from a team that's 1-6, smartly reading the map, knowing the mid turret was low, and roaming in with it and a control ward to ensure they weren't going to be turned around. BBQ at times have had these little spurts where you can see well-drilled, smart movements, good macro play. Compared to some of the other teams at the bottom, it hasn't been their macro we've really criticized, just they've been snowballed upon early and then never been able to get back into games. So seeing where they can be competitive, seeing how they can deal with what's soon going to be a Trinity Force and fairly large Camille, that is a weapon available to them. So how they can snowball from there will be cool to track.
Doom connects in yet again onto Smeb, knocks him down to about half HP. More pushing forward, just getting a couple of those shots in onto the turret as they try to break this, but it's just still too dangerous, so KT does have to peel back. Playing around the bottom side, though, with the majority of their roster, and that Infernal Drake has spawned. Be a solid pickup for them in a second stack if they can get it.
A control ward advantage, that's something here. Terrain always so important to talk about. No teleport available.
Gotta be careful.
Crazy.
Cocoon not going to connect in the smite away there from Bless. Going to be keeping tabs on that Infernal Drake as best as possible, but neither team really in a position to go for it.
Smeb can run top lane and be there to teleport, so a bit more restricted in their options here.
He's charging straight over towards the pit by the look of it.
Camille recalls. They don't have that information, do KT, but she has no way to close the distance. It seems like it's just BBQ giving up the Drake.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting a read on this, and Tempt went back as well. Could Weaver's Wall in, but you can see the trap line being thrown down here on the ramp by Deft just to cut off Bless, who he knows is on that quadrant of the map, so Infernal Drake will be gone over to KT for free.
Getting your minion waves in order makes it kind of a lose-lose for BBQ in a scenario like that. They wanted to send Camille top. They want to get objectives, but they didn't have the teleport to match.
Now, it's going to be a big pile in here from KT in the bottom side of the map pawn. Throwing out the ball, but really short there on the shockwave. Not nearly fast enough, but it will push them back. It scares off Ghost and Totoro long enough for this turret to go down. So 2-1 in that regard. KT nearly bringing the gold back to even, still down by about 300.
They're picking up minion waves so smartly, though. Rumble was in mid lane, started to rotate just in case there was an answering play in the bot side, and then Rumble picks up the group minion wave. The best teams are so good at this because we've seen games this season, Achilleos, where you could just look at the minions and be like, wait, one team has 80 more minions than the other team. How did they lose them, even in pretty even games without high amounts of kills? KT rotating smartly, picking up minions where they can, but crazy. With that Trinity Force starting that one-man mission.
Yeah, we'll be losing out on that. And the blue buff actually gets taken away by Attempt as well. Plus helps him out, so they take away a buff. So nice little push in there. And BBQ, I mean, even if Smeb had tried to go up towards that top side to contest and hold on to that turret, he would have been caught out by the Talia and the Elise. So good positioning from BBQ in that regard. And they maintain a lead.
They didn't have strength around the area, and Smeb has one of the best top lane senses of any top laners we have, so very unlikely he would have made the read that he was safe enough to push up to the turret. You just give it up. It's Trinity Force Camille. The speed there is very fast, and instead we just have Deft pick up side lane farm. Deft has played more of a tertiary carry than this season than he has in previous teams especially. He was kind of EDG's shining weapon. But on KT, I mentioned the stat earlier in the series, Smeb has #1 damage percentage of his team. So Smeb has been shouldering all the damage, and it's not 2014 Worlds anymore, where Deft is doing 52% of his team's damage. He hasn't needed to. They have played a couple of the Cogmore comps, but more recently has been other members of the team stepping forward. Meta right now seems to be a lot of Berserker Greaves and then a bit of AD and just focusing on turret killing rather than going for early Infinity Edges or potentially team fight builds on these AD carries.
Taking the measured approach.
QSS, BF, Sword, and Berserker Greaves. They are the new core of AD carry builds. Deft and Bang both agree.
Yeah.
Prey probably sits there and discusses.
No more Ninja Tabi.
No.
2% nerf was way too much.
No lethality to deal with cleanly.
Oh, well, you see that equalizer had come down. At least goes up with the repel, gets popped back in by the
Very
Flay.
nice Flay.
Yeah. Well timed, making sure that he can't get close enough to the wall for the flash, so he does go down. So, well done by Mata. Another kill on the board here for KT.
Continue to push around their pressure in the bot side. Finally, looking to get that mid lane turret that has thwarted them for a little while now. It's very healthy, so something like the shockwave might be needed here.
Chunk out where they can. Wave clear, of course, from Ghost is very significant at the moment. The wave is very far away, so KT gonna have to back off of this one for a while. Deft hovering close enough that he can get those headshots in if they step on the trap to try to clear them. In the meantime, Smeb will get launched on.
He's dead.
And yeah, he's just going to die. No Zonias to try to delay time. Deft will put another kill on the board for himself. 3-0 so far. And just like that, BBQ turned things around.
They do, but to a point, right? It's a kill with no backup objective to be claimed. They already have the mid lane turret. The waves are in a horrible spot in top and bot lane, so not of the biggest variety. Equalizer came in. Bless had nowhere to go. Watch the Flay, though. It's the cool part here. Flay comes in. Nothing he can do. Interrupts very cleanly.
Smeb's still dead. This could give Crazy a decent amount of time on that bottom tier 1 turret. You know how quickly he takes these.
Maybe an objective they just have to surrender. Actually sending multiple people bot lane, or at least cheating towards the bot lane with the Thresh and the Graves.
Seems like they want to go ahead and get a catch. I mean, Deft is here as well.
Mixed calls. They go in and out, end up pulling out, but they also know that Camille is not committing to killing the turret.
I mean, honestly, it's just multiple people disappearing into that side of the jungle. So that's enough to dissuade Crazy from sticking around. Which is a big wave into the turret. They chip it down considerably, but still will not be taken yet. So maybe it's just the mind game plays from KT. If that's the case, then very smart of them.
They are maintaining a gold lead, BBQ, sorry, over KT Rolster. Largely through the lead in the mid lane, 3 kills and also a 20 CS advantage. So Tempt on the Talia. Can't be surprised that it's working out very well for the side of BBQ, and Tempt in particular.
Well, Pawn starting to add a bit more damage there as the Luden's Echo is completed on top of the Merylnomicon. He's been in a bit of a rough patch as Tempt is out CSing him, 30 up, 3 kills up as well.
And it's worth noting that the KT draft is much stronger as a rotational team than a teamfight team. Sure, they have teamfight tools, but the old problem of who is the ball carrier and how does the shockwave actually get to the back line exists in a comp like this. I was wondering about Rek'Sai as a draft from the jungle to be a ball carrier. Instead, they went for lanes that push very fast, that can rotate smartly, but unless Mata makes the place hard as well, they found Smeb again.
Yeah, this is becoming a repeat occurrence here. Smeb does get to flash out to safety this time around, and the rest of the team is pinching down. Mata flashing forward, looking for Tempt, trying to get into play range. Hook not going to connect, and Crazy trying to TP out. No way to interrupt him, and they will just go ahead and get out of here. And now everybody's attention is down on this bottom side of the map, where Ghost and Totoro, they're pushing in for the tier 2. So really nice movements yet again for BBQ.
And no equalizer to clear the wave out from far. He can't even walk up. You see Smeb just sticking at the inhibitor turret. Nothing he can do, like you say. Running KT Rolster around the map in a manner you wouldn't expect for BBQ. Sure, Smeb was able to get out and buy time, maybe get the Zonias for the inevitable next Hextech ultimatum. But every time you see Camille walk up to Rumble, headaches exist for KT Rolster. And during those headaches, BBQ are making smart decisions.
Yeah, all that KT get. A second Ocean Drake. And another stack, perhaps for the Elder that'll be spawning eventually. But for now, they just keep actually losing out more and more gold. BBQ have stretched their lead just a bit. Nothing too significant, but nearly 3,000.
It's going to need some outplays and team fights because, as we say, the comp isn't set up for simple point-and-click success. Still could be a massive shockwave, still could be an equalizer to end them all, but for now, BBQ can be really happy with where they're at, and also the disparity between Crazy and Smeb in the split push.
And unless this game ends for BBQ in the most absurd of ways, if they do lose this, and it is just an outplay by KT, I think that they can walk away from this game and have something to work with in a VOD review and build from there.
And we saw the Rox Tigers series before this, right? Rox Tigers playing
MVP.
in their match against MVP.
Oh, here we go. Ultimatum thrown down. Smeb taking a lot of damage. Throws out the equalizer. Tactical sweep is there. Does Crazy want to go for this? The Zonius is here this time. Crazy has to bail out.
Crazy maybe didn't check the inventory and see that the Zonius was available. Smart from Smeb to hold on to it. Getting the flash out of the Camille is not a trivial thing. Can extend the range of that hook shot. Get a big initiation, so something gained for KT. But just to finish the point, in the previous years we saw Rox against MVP, and Rox was the team with the honorable losses before a match against a team that was a fellow struggler, and the honorable losses did actually suggest to us they're probably better. We had a match that also suggested to us that they were significantly better. So for BBQ, playing smartly here may actually well set them up for future matches like it did for the Rox Tigers.
Yeah, and their future match is actually going to be against MVP at the start of the second round. So it could be a very nice one for them, the chance to pick up a win, perhaps. Still a ways off, though. For now, they have to go ahead and conquer the third-place team of KT Rolster.
And this map, I mean, doesn't necessarily seem unwinnable by any stretch for BBQ. We don't need to look forward to future matches just yet because we liked BBQ's draft. I like the way BBQ's played the early game. Not quite getting the pick on to score, and Mata there for the evacuation. But BBQ have the run of the map, and I'm just waiting for them to continue to play around pressure. Right now, all the pressure set up around the Camille, which is working out excellently for BBQ. When they start adjusting their map pressure to the top side by getting aggressive wards in,
oh, Shockwave comes through. Ghost goes really low. Just off of that combo from Pawn. Can't quite get the kill, however. Totoro there to back him up. But still, you can see that Orianna starting to work out.
And the lack of wards also around the Baron starting to cause a problem. So let's see BBQ shift that attention to the top side.
That as well.
Crazy's going to sort himself out just fine, as we can see. He's gone Ravenous Hydra, so he just really wants to kill Rumble.
Yeah, he wants to get the kill.
They have slightly less pushing power, but a whole hell of a lot of kill power.
Well, Zonius is there, so Smeb can at least take solace in that for now. We saw, how willing he was to hold on to it. So it's not itchy on the trigger finger by any means. So Crazy just trying to bait out the Zonias before he uses the Hextech ultimatum. It seems like not really a possibility. Death pushing in.
Just want to get the Banshee Veil away with the ultimate there. Ace in the hole.
Playing against the clock though, almost was in range of getting caught out by that Elise, but does make it out safe.
Let's just discuss a small point. It's kind of a high-level point, but not much is happening in this game. BBQ is warding and playing around their strength, which is the Camille over the Rumble. But do consider the fact that they're playing around that strength in the bottom side, where the Drake wasn't going to spawn for 3 or 4 minutes when we were watching it, as this initiation goes wide. They didn't have any backup objectives with that pressure. If they had had that pressure on the top side, you can fall back to a Baron, get ward control over a Baron, because Camille is out split pushing the Rumble. But in that scenario, they could get nothing really from the pressure advantage they had in bot. And that's like a small macro point, but actually could be a pretty considerable one in a game like this, because Camille being stronger than Rumble actually lost the Camille the Flash and gained them nothing.
Yeah. Well, now KT looking for something. We'll be pushing in from mid. Should be pretty easy work as they go ahead and knock down that turret. So the final outer now falling. Crazy still applying pressure down on the bottom side.
But is he applying pressure, or is he sending a minion wave towards the Rumble is kind of the real question here, because they're not getting anything from him split pushing. It's just like if you had a Vayne and a Caitlyn trading CS in a side lane, it's benefiting the Vayne, even though the wave is going faster to the Vayne than it is to the Caitlyn.
My solo queue explanation would be, well, it's not my fault you're doing nothing with the pressure I'm creating.
Well, I don't know what the comms are like. It's possible. This is pressure, though. Not able to get any hits onto the turret because the wave clear is still there from the Rumble. This is the next step that I think BBQ needs to be that top team, is finding ways to play around wins. Look at MVP. Getting a win in the early game, not knowing how to transition to the mid game. BBQ having a split push advantage on Crazy hasn't been common because he's largely been playing tanks. And yet playing around Elite's not a trivial thing to learn at the highest level. They finally do so as they get that turret.
Yeah, Hextech ultimatum comes down onto Smeb yet again, but Crazy's going to hightail it out of here.
Ooh.
Hook barely going to miss. A couple pixels more. Might have had that one. Get a little bit more damage off the backside of that from the equalizer, but Crazy will be able to leave, but the flash is yet again down.
They do lose an objective. Finally, BBQ takes something out, but they have to use a lot from the side of Attempt and Crazy to make it happen. KT still get their buffs on the bottom side, so they aren't being counter-jungled. Still, no movement from BBQ on the top side of the map. You feel like KT are kind of getting extra life after extra life, second life after second life, and a team fight victory for KT could still swing the game their way. There is no unassailable lead. Lead is stuck around 2,500 gold for the better part of 15 minutes.
Yeah, was growing very slowly, but now it's kind of stagnated here. And KT could just go ahead and stack another Dragon onto their inventory that they have already, a third Ocean Drake perhaps.
Intriguing build coming through.
Cloud Drake would come through.
Intriguing build from Score. He's actually gone Rapid Fire Cannon as his offensive item after Warrior and Hex Drinker. Feels like we've had the Phantom Dancer be the common choice. Black Cleaver also was very common for a long time. Black Cleaver's looked past in this particular game because it's only Caitlyn doing physical damage outside the Graves. It's a pretty squishy build, but it's more about turret taking and maybe one initial large AoE than any necessarily sustained damage from the Graves.
One of the other ones that we used to see actually was the Death's Dance, if you think about it. Now, very strong at the moment. Still not seeing it.
It is really good. I'm surprised so few people have used it since Ixu used it on, what, day 1 of the season? But no Riven in the meta, so no Death's Dance top lane Riven. I agree. I can understand on the Graves. I guess Zeal is such a great one-item power spike, and it's so cheap that you kind of feel priced into a Zeal, and then from there, anything works out. Death's Dance a little bit more tricky to build, but it feels like Graves builds do iterate a lot over time. It is a surprise to not see Black Cleaver, but could still be gotten next item.
KT all pushing forward here in the mid lane. Smeb moving up the bot side. Will be going in to join the squad as all of BBQ just waits in the fog of war, trying to get the catch.
And KT are playing around their vision, so BBQ's like, okay, they haven't come for a while, let's go for this. They put down a controller, they see why the face check hasn't happened.
Yeah, will get spotted out there. Sticking to
This is awesome, Baron damage.
Wow, it's taking quite a lot, and it'll just go down.
Baron speed caught even us by surprise, Achilleos and KT Rolster. They thought with the ward they'd be fine. But BBQ just turn on it. And with double Leandries and Blade of the Ruin King, they delete Baron in half an instant.
Yeah, good lord. Just ripped right through that one. Now KT all starting to push forward into this lower half of the jungle. Maybe looking for the tier 2. Sweep out, looking for an opportunity. Move down over to this brush. Trying to see if Crazy will walk down with this wave, but he's not having any of it. Knows that everybody's missing. But BBQ, they keep the hopes alive. They put a little bit more gold in their inventory. And now they have a Baron buff to work with.
Yeah, Baron buff and very good siege comp and also a 4-1 comp with the Camille is a lot of tools, and that's why you see a brush camp from KT. A single pick, especially onto Crazy, buys them so much breathing room. All they want to do is out-sustain and get over the Baron buff duration without losing an inhibitor turret or anything massive. But for now, they're just going to pick up minion waves. So far, Camille hasn't been able to bring up a wave, but when she starts to crash a wave to the inhibitor turret in bot lane, that's when the headaches start for KT.
They also have to get through that Guardian Angel. So just a bit trickier now to get through Crazy.
I think you're killing the minion wave. You're not killing the Camille. This present point during the Baron.
Oh, pushed up here into the mid lane is BBQ. Trying to knock this one down. To get some damage down onto the members of KT, maybe to force them away from the turret so they can more easily get to it, try to knock it down. Wave clear is still decent. Flash hook comes through from Mana.
Oh,
Dark Passage thrown out attempt will get left on. One more shot will do it. Pawn finds the hit, and Mana, there we go, comes up clutch with a Thresh.
Yeah, big game player Clutch underrates how strong a player Mata is. Casual, flash, hook, and the Dark Passage to pick up the kill. Beautiful stuff, and that halts BBQ's onslaught during the Baron.
That was a Kriegasm play if I've ever seen one. Good job, Mata. Excellently done.
Got his eye in on the Thresh. First couple of games of Thresh were like, well, it's not old Mata. He had that one game when they got perfect games by a Freak of Freaks, and then game 2, strapped his team on his back, made all the players, and like, is he back? And seems like increasingly the answer there is excitement for Mata's Thresh is well deserved.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been garnering respect. Game 1, banned away. We've seen it several times. And all of it culminating into that play. We'll see how many more he's got for us here in game 2.
Tem's kind of played that situation like he had cleanse. I can't 100% recall how much vision there was, but in my head, if we see the replay, maybe we'll get confirmation. It seemed like there was vision. His score's going to die fast.
Yeah, he's going to get just chunked out. TP has to be canceled. And he was just all on his lonesome.
Yep, he went for a merry walk and was killed by a Camille. She's level 18 with a lot of items. That was dumb, Score.
And he has no armor. So, goodbye and good night.
KT will pull back. A couple of uncharacteristic mistakes from Score this series. The Kha'Zix in game 1 face checking and dying, and now he's going for a merry walk on the Graves.
Trap line set up here by Depth as they try to hold on to this turret. Like I said, wave clear is still very strong from the Caitlyn.
The headache is still very strong with the Camille, who is ungodly strong and is sitting on probably some gold. Just went and bought a Giant's Belt to complement the Guardian Angel that was completed earlier.
Yeah, why the hell not? Just, you know, pick up something like a Randuin's.
Yep.
Frozen Mallet.
Randuin's, and then maybe the Death Stance. Just chuck it in there.
Oh, dear. Really unkillable. Yeah, that just sounds dirty. But, yeah, he's got a lot of AD.
When you're this far ahead of anyone who can answer you and you just function as a pick initiator with the Hextech Ultimatum, it is a really big problem for KT. They're going to have to really outthink BBQ, make big plays around the map like Mata's a few moments ago to deal with the fact that no one can enter lane against Crazy. And Smeb, sure, he can clear minions next to Crazy, but another Baron buff where Crazy can set up for 3 minutes, they're going to lose multiple inhibitors. There's nothing he can do.
Well, 30 seconds out from that Elder Dragon spawning. It's a 4-stack for KT. BBQ going to have to try to stop this
top
one.
lane as well.
That's since not going to connect. Crazy just rotates his way out. We'll let Smeb have that wave. Weaver's Wall coming through. Pawn makes it to the other side in time. Keeping himself safe. But it's all about this Elder Dragon now. BBQ pushing in, trying to get deep vision. And KT unknowingly standing on top of this. Cocoon comes down, Chain of Corruption as well, and Mata just gets destroyed. Tempt comes up with the killing blow, and BBQ. They want to just go straight in for this one. Oh, crazy. He takes a lot of damage as he jumps in on the score. Will get that GA popped, so he does a lot of damage, but he's not tanky at all. Smeb now going into the zone. He has to. Pawn gets the shockwave, finds the kill, takes out Crazy. Now Bless comes down off that rappel. Almost goes down, has to flash away to safety. But in exchange of kills, Mata goes down, Crazy goes down. But BBQ, do they just start up the Elder Dragon? Looks like the answer might very well be yes.
So KT was going to be completely rolled in that scenario, but the equalizer was put largely to stop BBQ from initiating, and the shockwave onto it was big. This is only a takeaway Elder Dragon. How much of a contest? Looks like a lot of a contest.
Yeah, the TP's coming through, 3,000 HP left on this one score. Can he be the ace for this squad? 2,000, they're backing off, and it will be taken by KT. BBQ back off the fight. And now it's 4-stack Elder Dragon over to KT Rolster.
A lot of respect shown by BBQ, but because Crazy was dead and Crazy has most of the gold, they make the informed decision to pull away. Baron respawns in 30 seconds. This time, KT Rolster will not allow it to go for free and have a buff to fight with it. Over. It's big for KT Rolster. They could make that happen. Could have gone so much worse.
Mab in a bad spot, though. He's going to get pinched on. Tries to take out Ghost, throws down the equalizer, but it's a bit shallow to really maximize the damage in onto the Svares. Pops the shield there of Temp, but he's just going to die in the end. And now Baron spawning in 10 seconds, and it could be a 5v4.
I mean, it will be for a long time. It's 60-second death timer for spawn. 50 seconds of time. They're going to run at the Baron. They're going to try starting it. KT Rolster rolling the dice.
Look how much damage they already have. It's down to half HP, but Bless is coming over. Will be spotted. They know exactly where he's at. Denying the vision, but the control ward is down, and it will be taken. Could have maybe had the seal if he got into the pit, as Deft was the one to get the killing blow, but now double buffs here for 4 members of KT.
In the end, drawing everyone to kill Smeb was actually just fine for KT. They traded up from the scenario because the members chasing him did not have teleport, did not have a way to get back to the Baron, trusting in the damage of the Elder Dragon. Elder Dragon 4 stacks, a lot of true damage, so even the tanks are doing respectable damage to the Baron. They pick up the objective to have Smeb spawning in 10 seconds. KT Rolster, even though they didn't have a strong Orianna initiator with the ball, have made good macro choices. BBQ also have played a good game. We're going to see a replay. This could have been the explosion for KT Rolster. Things could have gone a lot worse. The moment the equalizer comes down, because you wait here, you see the initiation comes through onto score once again. The equalizer doesn't necessarily look like it's going to be the right one, but combined with the shockwave, everyone sits in multiple ticks. Huge shockwave from Pawn spares KT from losing the maximum. Now with the Baron buff, they're starting to knock on the front door of BBQ.
I mean, it might even spare them from losing this game, where BBQ were in such a strong position. KT now firing back. Knock down that inner turret, the first one of the game for them in that top side of the map. Mid likely to be the next target. Some recalls already coming through.
Map is pretty bare from the side of BBQ in terms of wards. Because we're hitting full items. Only 2 control wards actually in inventories.
Well, Smeb is feeling a bit more confidence. He chases in on the Crazy. The
whole
team is piling in.
This could take a while.
He's in the hole. Gets a little bit of damage, but they really want to get rid of Crazy.
This might be a meanwhile at situation. They're trying to bring up a mini wave. Maybe not.
Okay, there we go. Well, mid turret will be under siege and should go down unless Score can clear this out, but yeah, it's just not going to be fast enough. Can't get there in time. Mata, flash available. Does he want to go for anything crazy? That's going to be the flash play. Goes into the hook, finds Totoro. Chain of Corruption down, but it doesn't matter. It's not saving the life of his support. Ghost does his damnedest, but it's not enough. Totoro will fall. 2 picks now for KT. Baron buff still there, and they will be pushing through looking for the rest of these turrets.
And Bless is not strong enough to walk up and tank any initiations. This should be free objectives for BBQs. Interrupt.
Ghost. Yeah, being delayed out. The equalizer comes down. He's burned down to half. Has to flash into the pit. And that is just the wave clear being taken away from BBQ. Lots of damage in onto Deft.
Oh boy.
Almost goes down, yeah, wow. Holy hell.
That's with some magic resist as well. He has some Kuro Scimitar already, this Deft.
Pawn is hunting, finds Ghost.
He has Vision of Used.
And up, Shockwave's back up. And, goodbye.
I don't know why Ghost stopped moving when the ball was in there. That was dumb.
If you know, they react to movement. Oh, God.
But there's the critical strike you don't normally expect coming through from both Score and Deft at the same time. Should break the base. KT Rolster, 2 more down. All the wave clear down for BBQ.
Yeah, 50 seconds on Tempt, 45 on Ghost. Smeb caught out, will go low. But you can see that ultimatum thrown down. Crazy just has to hightail out of the rest of the squad here to try to take him out. On going forward, looking for the kill. A couple more hits will do it. Smeb joining in the fray. He'll pop the GA yet again. And he is completely surrounded, perfectly timed by Mata on that death sentence. He'll go ahead, clean up this top turret. Haven't taken the inhibit mid yet. But you'd expect that they're going to be able to get both of these and then exit. If not, just stick around and try to finish the game. Seems like that's going to be the choice here as Totoro gets hooked up yet again. Will go down before he can even use that Glacial Fissure. TP coming through to keep the minion wave alive. And the turrets will be destroyed. The Nexus to crumble shortly thereafter as Bless tries to make it back in, but he won't be able to do so. Ghost now pulled out of the fountain, will die. And KT looked really rough there in game number 2. Will be able to close out that 2-0 victory for themselves.
But KT Rolster, just like SK Telecom T1, will go in with a 7-game winning streak into the Telecom War. Both of them losing their first series of the season. KT to Longzhu, SKT to the side of Samsung. And from there, win streaks, even game win streaks here for KT Rolster. Another 2-0 after their 2-0 over Ever8 winners. They took down Samsung a couple of series ago. KT Rolster, everyone in good form on the team. Couple of bad decisions here. This was a game they should have lost. Camille so far ahead with a duelist build, with the advantage in terms of turrets as well. They should have been able to engineer a scenario where KT would always trade down, where BBQ would always get an extra objective. Instead, made some bad decisions, didn't play around their strength and just had Camille trading farm with the Rumble, and somehow KT got a lifeline. A better team would not give KT that lifeline. KT got it here, they accepted it gleefully, they will not have to play a third game, and they go on to face SKT on Tuesday.
Yep. But still, lots to be proud of by BBQ. The early on macro plays were actually very intelligent by them. They were trading up, they were forcing KT to make sacrifices and taking objectives because of that, but it needs to be built on. This is the same thing that we've experienced from MVP, from the Rocks Tigers that we've seen from them in their recent games. You know, the foundation is there, but they need to build off of it to actually find success.
And I can echo that because you can smile to a point. You can smile till you're like, well, what are we gaining here? And they're like, well, nothing. And it's like, well, okay, well, that was the part where KT got a chance, the door was open, they should have stayed shut. So I completely agree. This is a VOD review where they can learn a lot, where they can feel good, feels like you can have a roller coaster of emotions, a rom-com basically. You know the outcome, it's KT Rolster wins, but there were some good points for BBQ.
Yeah, pretty much up into the point until right after they killed Mata in the jungle, when Crazy died. You feel good about right up around that point, and then it starts going downhill for BBQ.
I will get excited about BBQ winning a second series.
I mean, they almost beat a KT Rolster that had 4 dragon buffs.
True.
So there's definitely things that you can take away. There's a silver lining to the story, but unfortunately for the players, they're not seeing it yet. Instead, they're just going to wallow in the sadness of a loss.
And we get the lucky factor of being that one extra level detached, of seeing the bigger picture because we're commentating the bigger picture. For them, it's just a loss, a 2-0 loss to extend their suffering now 1-7 in the first round robin. Not happy times for the side of BBQ as Smeb hit some nice equalizers, so predictably did a lot of damage.
Yeah, as did Pawn. As the depth, but also Tempt as well, showing up on that Talia. As you would expect, major comfort for him. Started off the spring split rather well with that pick.
He was great in this game.
Yeah, I mean, seismic shoves on point. Really good stuff by him. So overall, props over to Tempt and BBQ for their early play. But Mata will, in fact, be your MVP for today. 83% kill contribution. Only died the one time that he got caught out in the jungle, but whew, good lord, some of those hooks.
Anytime Mata can jump on Thresh and it be a meta pick is a happy time for every viewer in the world of League of Legends. This man is clutch. This man does things that famous AD carries say, I don't know how he could do that, how he had the ability to do that. Well, guess what? Mata sees openings that other players self-question themselves over. Mata doesn't need to question himself. He was the 2014 World Championship MVP. He knows to trust in himself. And sometimes he face plants. We all do sometimes when we make the big plays, but Mata can also be a game winner, and he was in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Passage is on point. Every single time that Weaver's Wall came through, he was ready to save somebody's life with it, but just overall.
This equalizer was sick.
Yeah. Just zoning him back, and then there's just nowhere for the Elise to go.
Nice little flay onto Bless in this scenario as well. Thought he could come down and get out. Nope. Flayed back in to death in that scenario. No flash available overall. This was the play though, Achilles. Flash hook, max range on Tempt. How about just put that dark passage in, the equalizer. Maybe not even necessary with just how good the hook was. I'm sure Tempt said, well, I didn't see that coming, and that's probably pretty fair.
He was just giving somebody the option to come with him if they wanted to.
He just wanted to be in a highlight clip. He just didn't know it would be Mata's highlight clip.
Yeah. Well, then the Elder Dragon handed over, and this is about where it all went downhill.
Flashing over the Q there from Braum to get the engage. Anyone was fine. They had Smeb coming in with the equalizer to look for more kills, and by this time, it was basically the freight train from KT Rolster looking for a chance. Pawn rushes in himself. Everyone flashes in. They wanted to end the game. They do. KT Rolster looked good in game 2, but not for the majority. BBQ had control until they very much didn't.
Yeah. Well, clutch turnarounds there, very much at the hands of Mata, helping out the squad. So good performance from him. Let's go ahead, hand over to Joel for our last translation of the week as we hear from our MVPs.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your last translation of the day, and we saw another predictably close one could be, but 2-0 was the result once again. This time going over to KT Rolster over BBQ Oliver. We are here with Smeb and Mata for the interview. You guys are on a roll now, just how do you feel? You know, I feel like it's just such a good win, and we feel so happy about how we won today. You know that this is a summer KT, and KT is the king of summer, but do you feel like it's happening right now? Yeah, I think it's very similar to the kind of how we began the spring season, so we just really want to continue on with this. Smeb, you're currently first place in the MVP points. And you remember the 2016 season where you picked up the MVP king for spring and summer. And it seems like, you know, Smeb is just another welcoming invitee that we always see in this place. Yeah, I think last spring, I just tried to kind of give off the MVP to a few of my teammates and just let them enjoy the moment, but this time I'm just getting it all. And a lot of champions have been really mixed around with the ban pick phase that you guys showed in both games. Did you kind of expect the situation to be as it did in game 2 and game 1 with the ban pick phase? Yeah, we felt like, you know, no matter what we got in the ban pick phase, I think it was more up to our plays with the champions that we got, so we didn't really worry about that too much. Smeb, why are you laughing about that? I feel like your comments are very respectable. We really had to respect the Shen that you showed in game 1. And of course, with Cloud Templar here, being the Shen master, he has respect for how Smeb played it today. I feel like Cloud Templar is the best Shen in the world. There's no doubt about that. But we want to see potentially the best Shen in the world, how he showed it in game 1. And the taunts are so amazing with how the angles were calculated. Yeah, I just watched Cloud Templar and learned the best from him, so learning from the best, can learn these angles of how to get the taunts in right. And it seems like even with those plays one by one, it really snowballed to the end, getting you guys more power throughout the end of the game. Yeah, we did have a good composition to work with, and I felt like, you know, with each advantage that we got, we knew that we were just gonna have a more comfortable game heading towards the end of the game. And game 2 wasn't the same for you guys. And game 1 was relatively easy for you, but game 2 was a struggle for most of the game. And it felt like BBQ really had to answer for what you guys were throwing at them. Yeah, I think our coach really told us the feedback after the game, and I felt like we didn't control our emotions correctly, and we felt like even with the easy win that we got in the first game, we should have been lacking the complacency that we did obviously have in game 2, and that kind of really took a toll on us. And we felt like the way you guys did the macro plays around the field was really interesting, where KT, you guys had the slower composition to work with. Yeah, with Oriana and Caitlyn, you can always count on the late game that it would be a strong duo to go with. But we felt like when the opportunity presented itself to us, we couldn't be passive about it. We had to take the opportunity when they presented themselves to us. And it seemed like you guys were behind for most of the time, but that shockwave into the equalizer was the turning point for you guys. And what was the communication around that play? It just felt like we had all the patience in the world because we really wanted to play like that to turn around the game, and we were just screaming out loud when that happened, when that chain of ultimates happened, and we were really happy about that play. I think we do have a video highlight of that. We have to start it off with the flash hook by Mata into the death passage. And it seems like Mata's key plays here really made all the difference in the world. Yeah, I really like cutting off players, and it was a good opportunity for me to do it with the flash available. Yeah, if the opponents want to be aggressive, I'm going to play fire with fire and be aggressive with them at the same time. And Camille was a stronger point that you guys might have feared throughout the game because of how strong it had gotten to the end of the game. Yeah, we felt like with the Caitlyn and the Oriana that we had, with the power potential that it has at the late game, we weren't really afraid of the Camille. So even with Smith getting behind Camille, we knew that we had a lot of power potential near the late game, so we weren't really worried for the most part. Yeah, for me personally, I just had to run away each time I saw the Camille. So I'm kind of jealous that Mata didn't feel the same kind of fear that I felt. But now you guys are at a 7-game win streak, 7 series. And the next game is the world-focused competitive play with SK Telecom. But how do you feel about that game coming up? Are you guys prepared? I think we're preparing very well, and the scrims are really to our favor. So I feel like we really need this win to bring our composure back up to where we need it to be, and getting a win against SK Telecom would be a great thing. And what does Mata feel about that? Yeah, we lost 3 times, as you guys know, and we really need a redemption. I think that's what we're going to go for. Any last word to the fans? We showed a lot of disappointments regarding the teamwork and the team chemistry in Spring Split, and we really worked hard to improve on those aspects. So really have a lot of expectations for us, and we are going to prove you guys right. Thank you very much. And that seems to be the end of the interview. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. I think Mata just gave permission for people to be excited about KT.
Well, you know, at your peril. Definitely dot your I's, cross your T's, really think about it before you do that. But KT Rolster and SKT, both on an 8-match win streak. So the Telecom War, just like spring season, feels like it will be the first true turning point of the summer season as well. On the day, BBQ Oliver should feel good, largely, about especially Game 2 against KT Rolster. The end and the victor, the manner of the victory was also pretty predictable. Leaves BBQ stranded on 9th spot, 1 game score behind Ever8. The top 2, well, you know those already.
Yeah, very close. Samsung very well could swing themselves back into that position as well with a victory. Have played one fewer game compared to KT Rolster and are at a +9 as well. So they very well could be in that top 2 spot yet again, unless they suffer a loss in their future games. But the big one is going to be coming up on Tuesday. SK Telecom T1 versus KT Rolster. We're all so ready for that to happen. But starting off, in between that, we do have over at the Gangnam Studio tomorrow, Samsung taking on Jin Air Green Wings, and then Longzhu versus Freak of Freak. So actually, 2 pretty hype matchups.
Yeah, it's a sick match day tomorrow over at the Gangnam Stadium. Will Jin Air finally be able to show up against one of these top teams? They've done so well at inspiring confidence against the lower teams. Samsung, a tough ask. Longzhu versus Afrika. Longzhu been playing better. Afrika still Afrika. Could go either way. But guys, you won't see us before the Telecom War. It will be at the Gangnam Stadium as well.
Yeah.
So in case you want to hear it right now, put it into your diary. Tuesday the 27th, 8 p.m. Korean Standard Time will be the Telecom War. We'll be there on Wednesday to pick up the pieces. The post-Telecom War series is hard, even if we're not casting it.
Yeah.
We'll have certainly been watching it. We'll be in the Twitch chat as well, having a good time.
Hopefully,
But
we'll be blown away by it.
I hope it's great. I hope we get 3 games. KT Rolster winning would be the most interesting result. SKT winning would be normalcy again. Everyone has a team. Everyone chooses a horse in that particular race. But KT, they don't have the problems of spring. They are much better in the mid-game than they were. Now, can they actually be better than SKT? And who will SKT be playing in that particular series? We don't know.
I have no idea. We don't know who the starters are going to be. There's so many questions to be answered. And honestly, personally, I don't care who wins. I just want 3 games, and I want it to be a competitive series. That's all I could ask for. That's all I'm hoping for. So please, KT and SKT, deliver unto me what I wish.
I'm not worried. I think it's going to be 3 games. I think it's going to be great. We'll probably have no top talent. That makes me smile.
Oh, God, I forgot about the top talent.
But anyways, fun match day today. There'll be more tomorrow. Watch Sunday, watch Tuesday. Join us again on Wednesday. A lot of good League of Legends.
You had to remind me about the top talent. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. That's it from us for the week. We'll see you back here on Wednesday for more LCK action.